The views expressed in this episode may, or may not, represent the perspectives and beliefs of the author and presenter of this work. This work is intended in the spirit of exploratory musings and is meant for entertainment, enlightenment, or offense by the viewer as the viewer sees fit or has need. Viewer discretion may be advised.
Once upon a time, I was taking my toddler daughter for a walk through town. As we passed the bus stop, we encountered a man, late in middle-aged, silver-haired, wearing a political ball cap and a NASCAR jacket. He admired us, it seemed, my little tow-headed daughter particularly. "So nice to see a young member of the American race," he said cheerily. This comment took me by surprise. While this man's words were friendly enough, the implications of what he said were troubling. I think I managed a polite but confused thank you, but I couldn't get away fast enough, with my daughter in tow. It felt as though he had given me a thinly veiled fascist hand sign, one white guy to another, and this chilled me deeply. "The American race," he said. I turned this over in my head as my daughter and I walked towards home. What is the American race, really? I think I knew what he meant by the comment, and it was deeply offensive to me. But the question still bounced about my troubled mind like a basketball. What is the American race? What exactly would that be? I sat with this conundrum for a while. I looked at the facts, as that seemed like a good place to start. Here we stood, in the New World, a place an Italian merchant and mapmaker, Amerigo Vespucci, a contemporary of Columbus, graced with his own name. How imperial. Once Columbus and contemporaries arrived to these lands, the people who'd been here, the original inhabitants of this new world, were then systematically hunted down, enslaved, or killed by genocide. And the smoldering remains of them were swept out to the wastelands to languish in poverty and systematically enforced irrelevance. So who were we? The racist at the bus stop, my innocent daughter, and me. How about those dragged to this land in chains, kicking and screaming, to be forcefully conscripted into doing the awful labor no one else could survive enduring in the sultry South? Does not Scripture tell us that the meek shall inherit the earth? Who is more American than those forced to come here against their will, given society's heel for 4 centuries, and despite all that, these oppressed people still committed to and contributed as much, and under the circumstances more than other groups? They've got my vote. Moreover, who were we? The light-skinned of whom this troubling stranger offered praise. If you really explore the facts, you will discover they are the descendants of the riffraff, cast-offs, debtors, zealots, degenerates, wastoids, and the redundant for which Europe had no use over the centuries. These ancestors were discarded people, sent to pilfered lands to clear trees and swamps for rich men, or serve as societal fodder on the frontier, and to turn economic cranks in sweltering, disease-ridden, teeming cities. No one here gets a free ride. America is a place constructed of the cornerstones the builders rejected. Who, I ask then, is this American race? If we really look, we find it's a pretty checkered lot by all definitions of origin. A knockabout people who are compelled to leave all they knew to laboriously make a home in a place where most everyone started at the bottom. So who are we trying to kid? We're all the descendants of hardscrabble people, regardless of our color. What's important to note is how the insecurities of such humble origins drives contempt for others. In my view, racism is the single greatest tragedy in American history. Consider the cost. The generations and generations of persons denied a place at the table to share and contribute simply because of trivialities like skin color, ethnicity, or core beliefs. Think of what we've lost due to our collective narrow vision. How many strong and amazing voices and visions have been silenced and erased through our American history because of fear and pathetic bigotry? The cost is staggering. See how much we are now as a collective nation, but what might we have been beyond this if all could have participated equally, if we all had an equal place at the table and voice in the dialogue? It's heartbreaking when you really consider it. Fear of the unknown other, along with failure of self-image, drives this all-consuming and poisoning fire of prejudice from generation to generation. I would argue it is our greatest human liability, as we are all guilty of it, either overtly through practice or covertly through the complicity of our own conscious and unconscious ways. Regardless, it's all destructive, and it costs us all, every generation, dearly. But the present and the future is what we have, so let's embrace that potential and move forward with what can be, not what has been. Let's learn from the past, so as not to repeat so costly a mistake. Those rejected cornerstones can be crafted into a mighty temple if we allow everyone to contribute to the structure of this intrepid social experiment called the United States of America. Our national motto is E Pluribus Unum. Translated, it means from many, one. So let's quit with this inspection of the cracks and crazes on the surface of one another and look at what we can be, all of us together, unified as one people, created in the image of the Creator, here to engage life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness together as a united people. So tell me, what is the American race? I'll tell you, it has nothing to do with skin color or ethnicity. It's about being and belonging in that being. It's about contributing to the collective vision and effort regardless of who you are or where you came from. We are all truly greater together in all our mixes and complexity. So let's celebrate this diversity that truly and paradoxically unifies us as an American people, as this is the American race.